Hi everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back to my channel if you're a returning viewer or subscriber. Today's video is going to be another book haul. I film these pretty much monthly. I'm not buying this many books per month. I just collect them over a long period of time. I'm slowly drip feeding you book hauls. This particular haul is mostly all the books that I received over the Christmas period. So I got lots of lovely bookish gifts for Christmas. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this video because obviously we're a little bit late to be posting a Christmas book haul. If you enjoyed the video along the way, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you did. And without further ado, let's just go into the video. So the first couple of books were gifts from my bestie. I knew I was getting both of these books. I actually requested this first one, and the second one we saw together in the store, and then she was like, I'll get that for you for Christmas. So this first one though is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. This is the second book in the, what is this series actually called? Oh, the Empyrean series. Probably saying that wrong, but it literally says it right there. First book is of course Fourth Wing. Here she is. Can't miss her. She's gold. Second book, I mean, you also can't miss this. It's this bright copper colour. Definitely not how I looked in the pictures, but regardless. We both read Fourth Wing. We both loved it. And at the time, I couldn't afford to get myself a big hardcover new release, so she very kindly bought it for me. I'm so excited to own this, but at the same time I haven't picked it up because there was so much hype around the second book's release because of people's love for Fourth Wing. A bunch of bad reviews came in, so I'm scared to pick this up. But I definitely do want to read it sometime this year, maybe around the same time that I read Fourth Wing, but like a year later, so that would be end of August, beginning of September time. I really enjoyed with Fourth Wing being able to read it outside. By the way, I filmed an entire reading vlog just focus on Fourth Wing. I'll have it linked in the cards and down below if you're interested. Spoiler free, and then the end has some spoilers. I had a lot of fun filming that experience and reading the book in general. So yeah, that's the second book in the Fourth Wing series. This was a fantasy series following Violet, the tests and trials to become a rider, which is a dragon rider in this world. And she's going to like a war college to do that. Very kind of like high stakes and fast paced, enjoyable fantasy. I am still excited for this book, but I'm not sure when we get to it. But yeah, very thankful to my bestie for picking this one up for me. I might actually put it back. This shelf is not looking so bedraggled. And then the other book that she picked up for me was The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin is a world famous music producer. He's a super duper talented guy. I've wanted to read his book because he's produced some of my favorite albums and he's just like a big figure within the music industry, and music is one of my favorite things ever. I actually gave this book to the person who bought it for me for her birthday in 2023, and I bought it for her because she was interested in music production. And then when we were in the bookstore together, we saw this copy of this book, which looks, you know, completely normal. It is lovely though, the original kind of hardcover. It's like cloth bound, but it's signed. So magical. This was the last copy there. Months ago I saw that they had signed copies of this book and I was so excited. I really was interested in picking one up, and then I found out that it was sold out. I was really upset, but I was like, whatever, I'll just, you know, I'll get the book eventually. Not signed. We found a signed copy. Such a special book to have, and I'm really excited to read this. It's all about the creative act, the way of being. I think particularly if you're kind of feeling uninspired, like your work is not worth something, then this book has words of encouragement as well as just like general inspirations to start creating or continue creating. So very excited. Having a YouTube channel, you really are having to be creating constantly. If I'm not actually filming videos, I am either planning them or posting them, as well as all the Instagram stuff on the side and general other creative hobbies, like I draw and I paint and I do a journal and things like that. So I'm constantly creating. I wouldn't call myself like a creative person, but I am. I feel like that phrase, like being a creative person, has a lot of weight, but the point is that like even if I don't class myself under that, I am constantly creating. You do kind of like go with the ebbs and flows of having that natural like inclination to not only want to create, but also to be able to create something that you deem worthy. So I think this book will be great the next time I'm feeling uninspired creatively, and to hear it also from someone who's done incredible things with his work. We're gonna move on to some gifts from my family. So in November of 2023, I went to America. My family and I went to Florida, and it was a really beautiful holiday. So amazing to miss out on some of the winter. English winters are just dire. Going to Florida where it was like 26 degrees and sunny and beautiful, and there was a pool and we were by the beach and everything. That was just gorgeous. So I was very excited to be there. While I was over there, I obviously did some book shopping. My previous haul, you would have seen the books I picked up from like Barnes & Noble and Target, places like that. This is the only book that I actually got in America, and the reason why this one's coming later is because my mum bought it for me, but I did see it in the store and I told her that this is something I might be interested in, and that is the exclusive holiday edition of Fourth Wing. The regular Fourth Wing, like we were just discussing, is this bright gold colour, and then they did this really fun holiday edition. Obviously has this alternative cover art and then these black sprayed edges, the back and the spine, and it's got the snowy scene on the end papers. There's nothing much different about the inside, but it does have 2 exclusive chapters from Xadian's point of view, who's the male love interest. This is a bit of a, how should we put it, money grab. At the same time, it's fun. I think I was just thrilled by the fact that this edition was like not available in the UK, because that's the other thing, is this is like the American printing, so it just feels very different from my original copy, more so than like the American regular edition would feel from this one. I only buy special editions of books that I truly loved, like favorite books of all time, and I wouldn't call Fourth Wing a favorite book of all time despite me having rated it 5-star, but you know, I just couldn't pass it up. And it was really, really cheap, because actually this is the other thing, is that we found it in Costco and it literally costs like $15 or something, and the retail price of this is $32.99. so I don't know, this was a gift from my mum, so I'm very thankful to her for purchasing it for me. If you're being a bit self-indulgent, getting something gifted to you is really nice, because you don't feel as like bad for getting something that you didn't really need. But yeah, this looks beautiful on my shelves, if nothing else. She goes here next to the series, my little dragon and this candle. Another gift from my mum. This one is also actually from America, but we'll get into that in just a second. So they came out with a collector's edition of the first book in the Folk of the Air series, The Cruel Prince. That's one of my favorite series of all time. I've given every single book in it 5 stars. I just had so much enjoyment while reading it. It was just so much fun, and the world is beautiful, and anything kind of Fae related, you best bet I'm there. So it was a Waterstones exclusive in the UK, and it was a Barnes & Noble exclusive in the US. I ordered it from Waterstones obviously because Barnes & Noble doesn't ship to the UK, and it arrived, but it was different from the editions that I'd seen online, because it was described as having a normal slipcase, but the book was velvet, and when the Waterstones edition showed up, it was not velvet. And it was really annoying, because that was part of the reason why I was interested in getting that particular edition. So I contacted my brother, who is still over in America. He stayed on from our Florida trip, and I looked up on Barnes & Noble. I did like a store finder and search their stock, and the Barnes & Noble nearest him, which is still like a bit of a walk away, had copies of this book. And so I begged him from the bottom of my heart to go out there and purchase one for me, and he did. He brought it back. Without further ado, let me just show the book, because I haven't even shown you yet. So this is it. This is the Cruel Prince Collector's Edition. Beautiful kind of like matte and shiny slipcase. Incredible. Beautiful in itself. And then the book is velvet. Like, are we kidding? But imagine how boring this would have looked if it had just been, I mean, it would still would have been beautiful, but like significantly more boring had it not been the velvet. So beautiful. So if you want this particular edition, I'm afraid you're gonna have to get it from America, or find a seller selling an American edition. So I know I said, you know, found my perfect edition, it took me some time. We got this home, I unwrapped it on Christmas Day, and I opened it up, and the first thing I noticed was, wow, what a beautiful cover, what a beautiful slipcase. Open up the cover, it's upside down. They literally glued in the book upside down. If I'd been in America, I would have taken this to the store and been like, what the heck is this? But I wasn't, and I was just like, I've been through so much fuss to try and get this book, I don't even care at this point. And actually, it's kind of fun, because like, who else has a copy like this? I'm not sure whether there was like a general misprinting, or whether this book just like was the odd one out. I haven't really looked into it too much. It is misprinted, so if we put the book upside down, you can see it correctly. It has these fun end papers, and then everything inside is the same, except it does contain some deleted scenes, which is kind of fun. I haven't read those yet. So that was an interesting experience of this book. I mean, the whole thing was a bit of a fuss really, but I'm grateful to have it, because like I said, I buy special editions for my favorite books of all time, and The Cruel Prince and the Cruel Prince series in general is definitely a favorite of all time. I forgot to show you the sprayed edges. Kind of fun too. I do really, really love this though, and I think it looks beautiful on my shelves. I'm not going to actually ever read from this edition, so I don't really mind the fact that it's like misprinted or whatever. And obviously when it's in the slipcase, you can't even tell. I got a couple of books in my stocking, the first of which was slipped in there by my older brother, and he got me The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe. Tiny little edition of this book. It's literally the smallest book I think I own. I mean, there's literally like about 15 pages in here. I haven't actually read it yet, but if I'm struggling to reach my Goodreads goal at the end of the year, then I haven't actually read any Edgar Allan Poe, so I'm excited to see how I find his work. Yeah, also I have a black cat and I'm about to get in love with him, so I see why this one was gifted to me. And it's such a cute little book. I actually keep it with my poetry books because it would just look so silly on my regular shelves, but really sweet little edition. And then the other book in my stocking was from my mom, and that is A Christmas Memory by Truman Capote. Really beautiful cover on this Penguin Modern Classic. I love these books. I pretty much have got on with every single Penguin Modern Classic I've ever read. I also read Breakfast at Tiffany's in 2023. I really enjoyed that. I gave it 4 stars. I've read one of the little short stories in this, and I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I feel like he's one of these authors that I'm not going to enjoy everything from, but I do like the era he wrote about and his stories and things like that. As you can see from both of my experiences with his work, I've given it 4 stars. So I'm enjoying them. I just don't think they'll ever be kind of like favourites, but you know, I might be proved wrong. So this contains 5 short stories. The first of which is A Christmas Memory, which is the one that I've actually read from. It was a strange story, but I suppose I did enjoy it overall. It definitely made you think, which I think is important with short stories. But yeah, as you can imagine, these are all festive themed, all set around the Christmas time. This is more so a coffee table book than a novel, but I just want to show you it because I think it's absolutely beautiful, and it is How to Be a Moonflower, a field guide by Katie Daisy. So this book is all about how to appreciate the nighttime. I don't know about you, but I'm not scared of the dark per se, but I definitely, my mind spirals at night. The world just seems a lot scarier in the dark. At the same time, I do sometimes feel very incredibly inspired by the night. Definitely like a comfort in the darkness. I know that's such a morbid thing to say, but like I think not having lights on and just like existing in a very like deep light is very kind of like healthy for your soul. So I appreciate the night, but I do kind of have a love-hate relationship with it. So I love the whole concept behind this book, but I also have seen this in the stores and I just thought it was so incredibly beautiful because not only is the cover gorgeous, but the inside is fully illustrated by this person, Katie Daisy. The end papers, and then I don't know how to show you this. Look at these illustrations. Every single page just these beautiful, beautiful illustrations. I'll show you some favorites maybe. I feel like that could be fun. So if nothing else, I can just admire the art in it. It just has really, really beautiful paintings in here. Lots of it's just kind of like art pieces and quotes, but there's also a page about like the names of the full moon, the different phases of the moon, tips for going hiking at night, poems, different breeds of owls, different caves you can go and visit. Quite like American focus. We're talking about like American creatures and things like that. But some of it I can't apply to my actual life, but I think it's wonderful just to flick through and to own it as a little coffee table book. When I eventually have my own place, I'll be able to display this in some area as well. My main gift for Christmas was tickets to see The Cursed Child in London. It was a lot of fun. It was like a very interesting experience, such a cool production. I don't think I'd ever bother going back, but it's something that I'm really glad that I did go and see, and I'm very thankful to my brother for gifting me the tickets because they were very expensive and difficult to get and whatever. Along with that, kind of like a little token gift just with the tickets, he gave me a copy of The Cursed Child, the actual play script. I really like this paperback edition. I prefer it over the hardcover. I'm not sure whether I'm ever going to read this, but it is a cool thing to own, and it just like lives on my Harry Potter shelf. Oh, you can't actually see it, but I've got an entire shelf below this one, which is just like all of my Harry Potter books and Funko Pops and little props and chocolate frogs and things like that. So it looks nice on that shelf. I have mixed kind of feelings about this play. Like I said, I'm glad to have seen it. And then lastly, with the 3 books that I bought for myself, these ones all go hand in hand. I bought myself The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King. Are those the correct titles? The 3 books in the Lord of the Rings series. And I don't have physical copies to show you because I actually bought these on Audible. In 2022, my brother gifted me a year's Audible subscription, and I was coming up to the time where that was going to expire. So I decided to just like go for it and just purchase a bunch of audiobooks. Really unsure what to get because obviously we can access audiobooks on Spotify now. You can get them on YouTube and stuff like that, and through the library, of course. I was like, what audiobooks do I actually want to own like really good productions of? And I thought the Lord of the Rings series. I've never actually read the Lord of the Rings series. I own The Hobbit, but I'm unsure whether to read that first or whether to read it after the 3 books in the Lord of the Rings. Even though The Hobbit is a prequel, it was written after those 3 books. So if you have any thoughts on that, let me know. I'm kind of stuck with what to do, but I do definitely want to read the Lord of the Rings. Being like a long-term fantasy lover, I feel like it's a little bit unacceptable for me not to have read, or maybe not to like have any desire to read the Lord of the Rings. So I definitely will be getting to those at some point. I can just imagine rereading and rereading the books over the years of my life, then becoming like a real comfort thing for me, where I can just kind of like be doing any task and I can throw them on, get really familiar with them. A really cozy activity. I think my younger brother read the first 2 and he hasn't been able to get through the 3rd. They're really thick books and they're very kind of involved, and dare I say maybe a little bit boring. I think the audiobook would be a great kind of route to go down. And maybe if I enjoy that, I do want to physically read them at some point as well. So there you have it. Those are the 10 books that I brought into my life over the month of December. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. Like I said, that's how I can tell that you did. Subscribe if you want to stick around. As I said at the beginning of the video, we film these book hauls pretty much monthly, so more will be on their way to you. This year I'm currently trying to focus on my physical TBR. It's very scary, don't look at it, even though I've just drawn your attention to it. So I'm definitely not kind of bringing in as many books with the frequency that I used to, but I'm still purchasing books every now and then and being gifted books and stuff like that, so there's still content for my hauls. Without further ado, I'm going to leave you in peace, and I'll see you very, very soon in a couple of days for another video if you decide to stick around. Bye bye.